Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. How are you all this morning? I hope you're doing well. Hopefully better than me. No exaggeration. Mere moments before I appeared on camera, I was very powerfully blowing my nose and trying to clear out my sinuses. Seems like every time that I do, they just refill. Yuck. It's the residual symptom crap of a bad cold. And it's still going on. You know, I haven't taken any medication now. I want to say since, like, Friday. Might have been Thursday, but I think it was Friday. And, you know, although I am definitely feeling much better than I was last week. It's funny, because a week ago today was the day when I first had a whole day off from streaming. Just basically in bed all day, unconscious, delirious, with insane fever and pounding head and all of that. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And here I am a week later, and although I'm back into the swing of things streaming, these symptoms persist, and they're pretty bad. So, it is what it is, and again, I apologize. Another day here today, where likely you're going to hear me blowing my nose constantly, clearing my sinuses, doing disgusting things. Nothing I can do about it. I predict, no exaggeration, the rate it's going, I predict another week of symptoms. Seriously. Like, this was such a bad cold that I predict it'll be like a whole other week until this stuff is hopefully out of my system, you know. Anyway, that being said, I welcome you all here to the Level 1 Podcast. Today is Monday, the 6th of November, 2023. Let's get this sucker on. I got to get used to getting this sign on every morning because I forget half the time. And today, on today's podcast, we're going to do something a little different. Something that was planned since basically late summer. Today, we are going to dive into your suggestions. That's right. We have a suggestions box that was open over the month of October. And you guys dumped a bunch of suggestions in there for improvement. And what we're going to do today, for the first time, is we are going to go into that box and review said suggestions. And we're going to see what you guys have said. It would be something that could be, you know, improvements to the streams and content. And listen, here's the thing. First of all, I apologize again. I know that's really disgusting. It's bothering me too. I know that tons of people like the content and want to see it improve. And you all have different ideas for how that can be done. And that's what the suggestion box is for, is to get an avenue by which you can suggest those things so I can review them. Now, you have to understand, I'm a lot more open today than I ever was before to suggestions and criticism. However, I simply put cannot implement every single thing that someone suggests. A lot of the times, even though it might be well-intended, there's just no way that it's viable or realistic, okay? In addition, sometimes there's people who want something, and even though we can't do it immediately, maybe we could do it down the line, but then they get disappointed because we didn't do it immediately, okay? So you have to understand that the whole point of having a suggestions box that now we're going to begin to review on these podcasts is to take in your feedback for improvement, to consider things that maybe I've never considered before, whether it's just tweaks to my setup, whether it's games to play, whether it's events to hold, whether it's a difference in the way that I stream, however it could be or what it could be, right? I'm open to your feedback. I want your feedback, all right? So we're going to start with that this morning, after our usual, going through the schedule and stuff like that. In reality, there's not that much else to do today. We don't have any game news today. Schedule-wise, things haven't really changed. I just want to, excuse me, do a brief update on the React show, and an update on the React channel, because basically what I was dreading was going to happen did happen this morning, but it's not the end of the world. I just want to let everyone be aware of what's going on with the DSP Reacts, and we'll talk, okay? So we got a few things to talk about today, but I think the suggestion box will be the meat of it. And then, of course, for the next 3 days, full-time gaming. No more breaking it up with problems of me being sick or the React show, but instead, all new releases non-stop for the next 3 days as we make a big push to get into the end game of all the games I'm playing. If you take a look, Alan Wake 2, I'm like 17 or 19 hours in. Hold on. I am 17 hours in. Spider-Man 2, I'm 18 hours in. Mario Wonder, I'm 12 hours in. And if you judge versus, how long the games are, we're about 2/3 through every single game I'm playing. Okay? So, focusing on these games for the next few days, okay? We're going to see how far we can get. And, excuse me. And we're going to see if we can get near the end of some of these games, because we have double new releases coming out this Friday with Like a Dragon Gaiden, as well as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I know you guys want to see those games. The way I see it, we should not jump into Like a Dragon Gaiden until we've at least wrapped up one of the ongoing playthroughs I'm doing right now. I don't see how that would fit into the schedule. Why have 3 narrative-based games going at once? I don't think that's going to work. And we'll see. But Call of Duty, we absolutely could jump into. It's just multiplayer fun, and I think that could be good variety for the content. So let's see, all right? But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? Let's recap how yesterday went, in the streaming. And then I have something to say about DSP Reacts, and then we'll move to the schedule, and then we'll get to the suggestion box, okay? Cool. Okay. So, here's the deal. Yesterday, we did a makeup day for DSP versus the Internet. That's my weekly React show where I watch clips as suggested by the members over on my sister channel, DSP Reacts. This is an ongoing weekly show I've been doing every single week since February. This was episode 37, okay, without missing a week. Well, guess what? We missed a week because I was sick. So we finally had an interruption to the show, and because I missed so much time streaming, there was no time to make up the show. Like, if I missed 1 or 2 days streaming, big deal. I would have just done the show in the middle of the week, and we would have had another show on Sunday. But sadly, I missed almost a week of streaming, and there was just no way to fit in a show and then do another show back-to-back. It wasn't going to work. So we did the makeup show, and the makeup show was a lot of horror-themed content. We had short stories, supposed footage of real ghosts, horror video game, Easter eggs and things like that. It was good, and in a lot of ways, I would say, even though it definitely felt late, it definitely didn't feel like a waste of time, because we didn't get to say goodbye to horror, because we didn't have the Halloween marathon, right? If we had done the Halloween marathon already, and we were doing more horror after that, it would have been like, this is too much. But we kind of didn't have closure to October, because I was sick. So actually doing this yesterday kind of felt like closure to October, which was nice. And now I feel like starting today, I feel like we are now full-fledged moving into this busy holiday season of American Thanksgiving, right? The Black Friday shopping season, the holidays with all that entails. It's decorations, it's music, it's Christmas specials, it's food, it's family, and all the festivities, right? Now we can focus on that, which is great. No more lingering things from October, okay? And that goes hand in hand with us focusing on the games we're focusing on and trying to wrap them up in the next week so we can move on to other games as well. So it was good. Certainly wasn't, super pertinent, but at the same time, I still enjoyed doing some last minute kind of horror spooky stuff with you guys. Thanks to everyone who was patient for For those of you who are channel members on DSP Reacts, remained channel members, and understood what happened, thank you for that. All right? However, now we got to get to the subject at hand. Okay? Overnight, between yesterday when I did the show and this morning, I lost a ton of memberships on the channel. A ton. Okay? It's not just like a few. It's like, I added it up, and it was like, it amounted to hundreds of dollars. Let's put it that way. And there's a problem with that. And the problem with that is, that channel, as I've explained to you guys, okay, is only viable because it's funded by memberships. Okay? The content I put out on DSP Reacts is not content that I get to monetize and make money after the fact on ad revenue. Most of those videos either get claimed or revenue shared or outright revenue blocked because I'm watching content from other people. Okay? Again, apologies for this stupid post-nasal jam. So, the only reason that DSP Reacts is a profitable project and has been all year is because people show up to the streams, support the streams I do on the channel via super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips, and because they become members outside of that to suggest the videos for the show every week. Okay? So, here's what happened. I didn't do the show for a week because I was so sick. There was nothing I could do about it. I wanted to be here. I wanted to do the show. There was nothing I could do. All right? I apologize. I hate being powerless. I hate being in a situation when I can't do the right thing because the right thing isn't viable because I was so sick. All right? So we did the show. It's all good. And then this morning, I checked the channel because last night I actually posted up the threads on DSP React and said, hey guys, next week's React show is now in effect. It'll be next Sunday, and this one I'm hoping we'll have Thanksgiving theme. We'll talk about, hopefully Thanksgiving foods and traditions and things like that. The Black Friday shopping season with retail and stuff like that. And of course, the holiday season, I'm sure people will start to want to talk about Christmas. So I'm excited to see what next week's show will bring and what clips people will nominate. Said, please post up your nominations. I did that last night. And then this morning, I checked in YouTube Studio to approve everyone's comments, and I was like, oh shit. We lost a ton of memberships. A ton. Like I said, it was hundreds of dollars worth of revenue of the channel overnight erased. Okay? So, if you like the React content, all right? If you want to see it continue, if you like the weekly React show, if you like the fact that I've been putting in effort to do reviews for you, which I'm planning on doing a new one within the next couple of days of Season 1 of Invincible, and then to start watching Invincible and reviewing those episodes every week, plus starting to watch like holiday-themed movies and specials and reviewing those for you as well. If you like that content, if you like long-form reacts, for example, at the end of this month is the Ad Apocalypse 2.0, which we've talked about, but just to reiterate, at the end of the month, there will be a marathon on DSP Reacts of me watching advertisements that you guys are currently nominating. If you like that, if you like all this content, please support DSP Reacts. Please head over there and become a channel member, or give some memberships to your fellow viewer. Now, of course, you can't really do that unless there's a live stream, and there's no live stream set up there right now. I could set it up during the course of the week for next week, or you just wait till next week's show and maybe do it during the live show. So, if you could, please support that channel, all right? It would be great if you could, all right? Thank you in advance to anyone who does support that channel, but I am concerned, and I was afraid this was going to happen, that literally I missed one show, and a bunch of people now are not going to re-up their memberships because they missed out on 1 week. And oh, forget it, right? It's just crazy that the entire support of that channel hinges on me being able to do the show every week, and if I can't do it one single week because I'm sick, that this is what happens. But this is exactly what I was afraid of. All right, maybe we will have a rallying next weekend. Maybe when the show is a new season. I feel like it's a new season. We're out of the horror season. We're heading into the holiday season. Maybe people will start to feel generous and support the channel again. That would be great. Okay? So, I just had to bring it up because, yes, it is definitely affecting things in a big way right now. I've loved doing the React content for you this year. I have. I love the tier makers. I love the reviews. I love the weekly React show. I love the big long-form React events. It's very fun. It breaks up my content, and it makes it feel very different, correct? It does. Instead of just being gameplay, 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 gameplay. Me breaking up what I do into variety has worked. In fact, this is one of the big suggestions you guys gave me. Talk about the suggestions box, right? React content is one of the suggestions you've given me over the years that I should start doing. I diversified myself this year, and I've enjoyed doing it, all right? But I need your support to keep it rolling. It's not like this channel where it's just kind of natural that people come and support the playthroughs. Over there, it is a different thing. It's a different entity entirely. So please check it out. Please give it a look. It's youtube.com/@DSPReacts. Give the content a look. If you like it, please consider becoming a member and supporting that channel. Okay? All right. So, the React show went well yesterday. And then last night we did Spider-Man 2 for 2 hours. And thankfully, I got to play with Peter Parker's symbiote suit pretty much almost the entirety of the night. And the symbiote suit is absolutely great. It's very powerful. It's got some cool special abilities that we unlocked over the course of the stream that I had a good time with. So, in my opinion, the game picked up and is actually really good. And I can't wait to play it more tomorrow when we play it tomorrow night on the late stream. Okay? Cool. So, that is the day of yesterday, how it went. And now today we're back into full-time gaming. Let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. Today, the continuation of Alan Wake 2. We go back into Alan Wake's story again for the second straight stream. And this time around, rather than a haunted hotel, we're going to a haunted movie theater. All right? So that'll be interesting to see how movie-themed stuff is going to affect the plot and the exploration and the enemies we fight and things like that. The game is still great. I love the plot. It keeps me on the edge of my seat trying to figure out what's going on in the plot. And I can't wait for more today, so I hope you guys are ready for some Alan Wake fun. And then on the late stream tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, it's the continuation of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We are going to finish up World 5 and likely head into World 6 tonight, which is the final major world of the game. So I hope you'll join me for that. The game remains at a high level. It's fun. It's creative. It's interesting. It's quirky. It's full of laughs and full of challenge. So I'm having a great time with it. I am still 100%ing it. We're all the way in World 5, and I've still 100%ed every single stage, every single challenge we've come across. I've 100%ed so far. I'm hoping to fully 100% the game if possible. So, good stuff. And hopefully, you'll join me tonight for that on the late stream. Okay? Also, day 2 of all our clocks being changed here in the United States. I don't know if you guys noticed, my stream started an hour later. I did notice some people being around on the earlier side by accident, and I hope that they come back at the hour later. It is what it is, but now we will have these clock changes in effect all the way until March, okay? Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be more Alan Wake 2 on the first stream, and the late stream tomorrow night will be Spider-Man 2, okay? Wednesday is currently up in the air. What I'm thinking we should do is, again, do another stream of Alan Wake 2 and see how far we are. Perhaps by then we'll be nearing the end of the game. And then the late stream could either be Spider-Man 2 or Mario. I really don't mind either. Like, I think either would be great. Maybe see what you guys want, see what you're craving more of or whatever, and go from there. I'm off from streaming on Thursday. Please, Lord, let it be a more restful and more normal Thursday than this last week was, because last week was a nightmare. Finally, I'll probably be going out and I'll be doing real grocery shopping at a grocery store this time rather than dealing with the delivery this week. And hopefully getting back to the swing of things of normality. Okay, Friday, double new release day, but as I said, I don't see the point of us starting Like a Dragon Gaiden until we complete one of the 3 major games I'm playing right now. So I think what we'll do on the daytime stream on Friday, we'll play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and we'll do multiplayer the whole stream. 3 hours of zany multiplayer, all the maps unlocked. I absolutely loved the beta, so to be able to play the Modern Warfare 2 classic maps with a modern twist, plus everything fully unlocking and being treated normally like it should in the real game, should be pretty fun. So I think that should be a good time, and I hope you guys will join me for that Friday. Friday night will probably be either Spider-Man, excuse me, man. It'll probably be either Spider-Man or Alan Wake or Mario, depending. And what we'll do is the whole week we'll balance Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Mario every once in a while, and Call of Duty multiplayer. That'll be the whole week balanced until we wrap up 1 to 2 of the older games, and then when that's done, then Like a Dragon Gaiden will be tossed into the mix. Okay? That just seems to make sense. I don't want to start Like a Dragon Gaiden on Friday, and now when are we going to play it when I'm still playing 3 other games? It doesn't make sense. And I apologize. Obviously, the original plan was that I was supposed to have multiple games done by the end of this week, but it didn't happen because I was sick. I missed out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of streaming. 3 days, that's 6 streams, right? That I missed out on, and now I'm way behind because of it. Yes, it definitely sucks. I don't like being behind. I like being on top of all the new release games. And it's definitely sucking that I'm gonna be behind now and there's nothing I can really do about it. But we're gonna do as most as we can, right? As best as you can. One person, can't clone myself, can't play, certainly should not be playing longer hours right now. You know, of everything, the last thing I should do is overexert myself and get myself back to where I was sick again. You know, I've gotta basically do as much as I can within a normal day and not go crazy here, because that's what, like, people were, oh, do the Halloween marathon anyway. You've got to be crazy. Do you really think I should be completely draining my body and tiring myself out doing a day-long marathon when I was just that sick? Are you insane? Would you like to see me in the hospital? I don't think so. So, that's what I mean. I got to do as best I can with the time I have and not go crazy and not overexert, because that's just going to backfire and make things even worse. Okay? All right, give me 1 second to blow my nose, and then we will continue. Again, my apologies. It's disgusting. I hate doing it, but I have to do it or else I can't breathe and talk. So, okay. So, oh, stupid nose. Itchy. Now my freaking face itches. Great. Okay, so that's the plan for the next week. I hope that sounds good. As I already stated, I'm probably going to try to squeeze in a review of Invincible Season 1 at some point this week by the end of my streaming week. If I get a chance to watch some of Invincible Season 2 and start reviewing that, I will. And I would like suggestions for things to starting review for this month. Alright? But I haven't had a chance to set that up yet, and I'm thinking maybe if I have a chance later today, I'm going to set up a suggestions thread on DSP React where the members, or just the viewers there, can post up stuff that they'd like to see me watch and review on that channel heading into Christmas time. Okay? So there you go. Alright. So, I mean, that pretty much covers everything that I really had to talk about today. So what I would like to do is jump into the suggestions box and let's see what it is that you guys have suggested over the last month to month and a half, and take a look. All right, let's just do it. So let's do it. Let's jump in. And by the way, we'll probably do this for a little over half an hour, and then we'll get to shout outs, and then we'll get to our usual opportunity for open Q&A and all of that. I don't want to do the entire show. The suggestion box is full of stuff. We can use this all month. Like, we can do this all the time on the podcast this month, okay? Okay. So, all right, ready? So we're going to start right at the beginning. I'm actually going in order of submissions here. I remember during your playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Original last year, you said there's a possibility we give Final Fantasy VIII another chance. I love your Final Fantasy playthroughs. I hope you'll do that eventually, and also play Final Fantasy XII because you never played it on stream. Yeah. Like, there's no response there. Yeah. One day I'd like to play 8. One day I'd like to play 12. When time permits. Thanks. Now that you have a mini gaming PC, I hope we'll have PC exclusives in rotation. For example, there's a 90s point-and-click adventure game that was called Toonstruck. It starred Christopher Lloyd as a cartoonist trapped in the world of his art. Kind of like Comic Zone on Genesis. Tim Curry voices the animated villain of the story. Okay. The game sounds familiar, but I've certainly never played it. And again, yeah, I would consider it. I do have a mini PC. It seemed to work well when I played Chrono Trigger, although we didn't get to use it for the Halloween marathon and test it to see if that Phasmophobia, how it would run on there. You know, it kind of sucks because that was going to be like a good opportunity to actually test it and see. And we didn't get a chance to do anything, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, in the future, I would consider it, I guess. Again, these game suggestions, I get it. Okay, here's a game suggestion. Okay, sure, I guess. Like, I don't know how to respond to it. Obviously, we can't do it now. It's going to be based on requests in the future when we actually have downtime. And now is not the time for that, so I can't really say, yeah, let's play it right now. You know what I mean? Can we get a tips goal to do a 70s style half-open button-up shirt with Vaseline on your chest for $125? I do that all the time already. Play Baldur's Gate 3 when you're done with Starfield. I've already had 5 zillion people this year say that I should play Baldur's Gate 3. Listen, my apprehensions with Baldur's Gate 3 remain exactly the same as the first day when someone said I should play it. We already played Divinity Original Sin 2, and it didn't work, alright? And it's the same style of game. It's not identical, but it's the same style of game. It's a RPG with insane amounts of narrative, slow-paced, right? The combat is slow-paced. You know, and as much as you guys feel like an immersive RPG would make a great playthrough, alright? I look at it and I'm like, you can tell this is the kind of game made for a very dedicated gamer who's going to sit around playing that game nearly non-stop for a month on end, immersing themselves in the world. This game, I don't know how that game would work with my schedule. I'm a variety streamer. I don't just play one game constantly. I play 3-4 games. I have multiplayer games in the mix. I juggle everything around so that there's variety and there's a little something for everyone. With Divinity Original Sin 2, we played 60 hours into the game, and even people who love the game told me to stop playing it. That it was so boring at that point because I wasn't having enough time to dedicate to play it. So that is my apprehension with Baldur's Gate 3. And I think the problem here is, can I be honest? Let me be honest with everybody here, with my opinion here. Here's what I think the problem is, all right? When you are a variety streamer, everyone expects you to play every good game, okay? Excuse me. And that's just the truth. It seems like everyone expects you to play every good game. I cannot play every good game. It's not possible. There's too many games. There's too many formats of games. There's too many ways and avenues to play a game. Games are so lengthy these days that there's just no way that I could realistically play every good game, right? For every good game that I play, I end up missing a good game. You get that, right? Like, I played Lies of P, and I played it not expecting much. It was insanely outstanding, right? And because I played Lies of P, essentially I wasn't really motivated to play the Lords of the Fallen, and that's why I'm not playing the Lords of the Fallen. You see? I'm not saying I'm not playing it ever. I'm saying that's why I'm not playing it now. If I hadn't played Lies of P and skipped it, then maybe I would have been more in line and say, okay, let's do Lords of the Fallen, because I didn't really do the Soulsborne style game with Lies of P. Do you see? That's basically the gist of it here, right? So, you know, BITW awesome. I'm just going to time you out, and if you continue to spout nonsense, I'm just going to make sure that you don't talk in the chat ever again, because I really had it with your nonsense. Saying dumb shit here. Okay. Anyway. So, yeah, like, I can't play every game. And the thing with Baldur's Gate 3, as everyone knows, it's an insanely time-consuming, really large time investment needed game. And that's fine. Again, I respect the game. For people who played it and enjoyed it, good for you. I just don't think it's the kind of game that's going to work for me. I feel it's going to be another situation where we start it, and the first 10, 20 hours, people are interested, and then they all get bored. And then people stop showing up, they stop engaging, they stop supporting, they're tired with the game. But here I am, I played 20 hours into an 80-hour game, and people, and now, well, aren't you going to keep playing it? Well, where's everyone? People are already done with this game, you know? And it's not representative of the game, it's the style of game. This kind of content that I do. It's hard. It's hard to even maintain people for over 10 hours in a game these days. It really is. And here I am in the midst of Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, and yeah, the attendance, the engagement has fallen off for these playthroughs. Why? Because these games are also damn long these days. Games back in the day when I started on YouTube 10, 15 years ago, on average, were 10, 15 hours long tops. Tops. Now most games are 20, 30, 40 hours long. That's very hard to get an audience to engage that long. And now you're expecting me to play an 80-plus hour RPG while I'm juggling other projects as well, because I don't just play one game at a time. You know what I mean? You have to understand where I'm coming from. You have to. Okay? I'm not saying I'm never playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm saying I literally don't know how on earth I would play Baldur's Gate 3 with how long it is and the kind of content I put out. We've tried this with other games. It doesn't work. So if you have a track record and you've seen in history that this kind of stuff doesn't work, then why would you keep trying? Right? I get it. A lot of you like Baldur's Gate 3 and you like seeing me play the best games of the year. Gotcha. But it doesn't fit my format. It doesn't fit the content I play. So how could I play it and why would I bother? Why would I waste everyone's time, including mine? So there's no way that I could do it right now anyway. But, maybe long term, but I just don't see it happening, being honest. It's not a casualized RPG by any means. So there you go. Alright, continuing on. Have you ever thought of doing something akin to a sub Saturday like other streamers where you basically play inexpensive indie stream games that your members pick and you switch games every 30 minutes to an hour to a new game? I apologize if this has been asked before, and I apologize if you've done it and tried this before it didn't stick. I'm unaware since I'm kind of new here, and I love and enjoy all of your content that I do. And again, I'm sorry if I'm ignorant. Much love to you and your family. I don't really understand. I don't really understand the concept of this. All right. So if you guys can explain it to me in the chat, I have the chat right here in front of me. What is this whole sub Saturday, sub Sunday? What is the premise of this? Because to me, when I hear that, sub Saturday, sub Sunday, it sounds like, so we're doing a special stream where we're trying to get people to subscribe to the channel. But when you say sub, you're probably talking Twitch. You're probably talking getting people to become a paid subscriber. So maybe for me, it would be like Member Mondays or something like that, right? But I just don't understand the premise of it. Like this person is saying, the premise is you or your members pick inexpensive indie Steam games and you switch games every 30 minutes. Like, huh? So I'm being told this would be a stream only available to paid subscribers. So it would be members only stream here, Member Monday only stream on YouTube. Okay. So I gotta wonder, like, well, how would this work? Right? I don't get it. If someone could explain to me the premise of how the event works and why you think it would work, I would consider it. But it sounds to me like all you're saying is set up a stream that's members only. Okay. What's the benefit of that? Right? And the other thing you're saying is have members pick or you pick a bunch of indie games and you play them for 30 minutes at a pop. So what you want me to do is buy like 5-6 games and play for 3 hours. Every 30 minutes I play a different indie game. Okay, what's the benefit of that? I'm at a loss. You know, I am. I'm kind of like scratching my head. I don't get it. Wouldn't it encourage memberships? Would it? Would it encourage memberships because Phil's playing 6 random indie games he's never going to touch ever again on a stream today and only members can see it? Would that make you become a member? You tell me. That's what I say. I don't get the concept. I don't understand that. You know me. I don't do subscriber or member only events. They don't exist. I don't do that. Everything I do has always been public and open. I've never had a paywall style event like that. So I don't know what the benefit would be. It works for other streamers, but it wouldn't work for Phil. Why not? Well, first of all, why does this work for other streamers? And why wouldn't it work for me? People will just leave if you paywall it. Moist Critical does a bad games night once a week where he tries to find and play the worst games possible. Okay. Ellipsian says it's basically a stream. Members will dictate the content for the day. It doesn't have to be many games. It could be one game, even continuing a playthrough. Okay, before we go further, I would just like to say something, all right? Can I please just let me say something before we continue, because I am going to consider the suggestion, all right? I am not a big streamer, and people have to stop having that mentality in their heads that Darkside Phil is a big streamer. At most, I get a few hundred viewers a stream. At most, I get a few hundred viewers a video. At most, I'll get more than that, like 1,000 a video, right? Maybe a couple thousand if it's a big playthrough, it's the first few parts, okay? The reason, the concept you're describing, all right, is something that would work for someone who's huge. People are clamoring for their attention. They absolutely would love to see that streamer play something that they want. See? To have Moist Critical or Maximilian Dude or, you know, one of these big streamers and content creators play a game that you want is like, oh my god, I've always wanted that. It's like one of my big desires, life-changing thing to see this person play a game that I suggested on a stream. That doesn't happen with me. I'm a small guy. I'm a small-time guy. All right? We don't get thousands of people showing up to my streams that are going to become members overnight because I did a members-only stream. At all. What'll happen is I'll get low attendance on that stream because people aren't just going to pay just to show up to a random stream. Okay? For them, oh my god, the day that Moist Critical graced us and played this indie game, right? The indie game gets exposure. The indie game gets a bunch of attention. People might buy the indie game because Moist Critical played it. That doesn't happen with Darkside Phil. Darkside Phil is a small-time guy. No one cares if Darkside Phil plays an indie game. No one. I don't. No, the game developer won't. I won't. You won't. Do you understand? It's very different. I'm not some independent e-celebrity like these streamers. The people ridiculously unfairly compare me to people who are 10, 20, 50 times bigger than me. And then they don't get, well, I don't get it. It works for them. Why doesn't it work for you? Because I'm not them. I'm a small-time little guy. The fact that you act like I'm some big guy, right? Bringing in insane amounts of money and attention and everything that I do is ridiculous. I don't think that a members-only stream, is going to ever work, honestly. Excuse me. That's always something that I've stayed away from all these years. I told you guys I don't like paywalling my content. I wanted that all my content is available to everyone at all times. Now, if you go the extra mile and you support, maybe you'll have the ability to direct some of the content. Maybe you'll be suggesting advertisements for the Adpocalypse, right? Or games for a marathon or things like that. Shows for me to review and stuff like that. That's great. But that's different than saying, oh, only a certain group of people can even watch said content. You see? I've always been anti-paywall when it comes to watching my content, you see? So that doesn't make sense to me. And then in addition to that, like I said, do you really think if I did a day, like let's say I did Member Mondays, and this daytime stream on Monday was members only, right? And the members voted, nominated and voted, and I played 6 indie games. First of all, each indie game, let's say each indie game costs $5. So I just dropped $30+ plus tax for today's stream. So immediately I've negated half my profits for the stream because I'm not Moist Critical. Moist Critical will make thousands of dollars on his Member Monday stream. I will make probably $50. So I've already negated half my profits of the day because I bought 6 games for this one stream that I will never play the games ever again. Then I play the 6 games. No one will care about them, right? Maybe one, if I get lucky, anyone will ever want to see again. And no one will watch the videos of them because who's heard of these fucking nobody games, right? They don't get any exposure because I played them. No one gives a shit about Darkside Phil playing indie games in 2023. Do you see the point I'm making? Okay? That is the point I'm making here. All right? You're talking someone who gets 300 views versus someone who gets 20,000 views. The scale is not there. That's why I don't do that stuff. And that's why people say, why don't you do this project that Max does all the time? Why don't you do what Moist Critical does? Why don't you do what Angry Joe does? Why don't you do what this other giant person 40 times bigger than you does? Because it doesn't work. The scale's not there. That's why. If I were a ginormous, in-demand person, I could do all these specialty events to rake in money. Oh, by the way, isn't it funny that if I did a members-only stream, all I would get is criticism that it's for greed. But these big guys do it literally all the time to bring in memberships, and they don't get criticized. That's okay, right? That's okay for them to do it. They could paywall their content all day. That's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But if Darkside Phil does it, he's the devil, right? So there you go. So, yeah, this sucks. That I can't do the things that other people do, but I do feel like it is completely and utterly unfair that people do stuff like this to me, and they try to say, oh, you see, well, Phil just doesn't want to do what other people do. He doesn't want to improve. He doesn't want... No, it's because I can't. I'm a small-time guy. Just because I get insane amounts of harassment on the internet, and all these nut jobs are obsessed with me, and because of that, a lot of people know who I am, does not mean that I get a positive result of that. I don't get 10,000 views on every stream I do, where I can do Member Mondays, and it makes me a lot of money. It doesn't work, okay? So that's why I can't do that kind of stuff. I didn't even understand the concept, because to me, for someone of my stature and my size, what you described didn't even make sense. You understand? Like, that's not even a consideration of something that I would consider doing, because it would be shooting myself in the foot. It would basically be isolating a ton of my audience who aren't members, who can't watch my content now. And playing games no one's asking for, right? And then dropping my profits for the day into games I'll never play again, and that's it. I made no pay today because I bought a bunch of games for a random stream. Again, dude, Moist Critical, to buy 6 or 10 games for a fucking stream, it's nothing. He farted those games out. He makes thousands of dollars a day. You understand? I don't make thousands of dollars a day. Got it? Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Continuing on. Find a nice local shop to make merch, sell it on Etsy or eBay. It'd be profitable for you and help a small company. That's not how it works. In order to do that, I would have to finance all the merch up front. Meaning I would have to have investment capital to invest into merch, to produce the merch with the small business. The small business is not going to make merch out of the kindness of its own heart in the hopes that it will sell online. All right? There's two business models when it comes to merch, all right? And I feel like I should explain these because I think a lot of people do have confusion over the way that merch goes. Hold on one second because I got to blow my nose again and then I'll explain, okay? Okay. Okay, my apologies. It's disgusting, and I gotta put up with it. All right, there's two different ways when it comes to merchandise and content creation like I do. Either you find a third-party business that is an on-demand business, okay? What that means is they incur all the production costs whatsoever. It's an on-demand basis. You upload designs, for example, like I would upload a logo, I would upload a saying, I would upload a design, and people would then be able to apply that design to a variety of merch, t-shirts, sweatshirts, stickers, mugs, different color coordinations, and things like that. The business themselves incur the production cost. They make the merch on demand per order, okay? The reason they're able to do that is because they are huge, they bring in tons of business, and they have the means to do it. They probably have the printing presses, the software, whatever it needs to do this on the fly, and they can do it on demand per order, all right? In that model, there is no investment or risk from the content creator themselves. I would invest no money into it. It's just you guys go to the site, order the merch, I make a couple bucks off each sale, they make a bunch of money off each sale, and you get a piece of merch, okay? That's what I always did back in the day with first it was Cafe Press, and then it was Teespring. That's what I did with those businesses. There was never any cost on my end. They incurred the cost, okay? The other model that you're thinking of is more of the small business model, where I would have to invest a ton of my own money to buy and produce shirts en masse, whether it's shirts, sweatshirts, whatever it would be, and then once I've already pre-purchased them, they are stored somewhere, usually an off-site warehouse, and then people can order them on demand, and they are shipped from that warehouse directly to them, and that's how I make my money on the back end. But that requires me to invest the money first. I've done that before too. I did that over a decade ago when we were making the t-shirts for Project 7, okay? I invested a ton of money into buying all those t-shirts and pre-producing them in the hopes that we would sell them at conventions and then online, okay? Now, what you're suggesting, working with a small business, there is not a single small business in the United States of America that is going to say, oh, yeah, we know Darkside Phil. We'll just, of the goodness of our own hearts, produce all of your merchandise completely for free. We'll front all the production cost of everything for you. And therefore, people can just order it out of our warehouse and buy it, you know, because we trust that you're going to sell merchandise. That will never happen, okay? Small businesses will require you to do the investment model, where you have to put your money into it first, pre-produce all the merch first, and then it's up to you to push that merch and sell it on the internet, okay? I don't have that money. I don't have any money to invest into merchandise. Zero. I have $0 right now that I could invest in merchandise, okay? So, that's never going to happen. All right? I have to go for a model of one of these businesses on the internet that are order-based. And sadly, the ones that are out there, I hate to say it, are businesses that are, how can I say? I mean, I know this sounds really dumb, but essentially they're kind of left-leaning, meaning if they get bombarded with complaints by my trolls saying, did you know that Phil in the past said this racist thing and said this sexist thing and did that, and then they bombard them with quotes that I did a decade ago, 15 years ago, or out of context quotes of my content that literally that's not what I'm saying, but they make it sound like I am, because anything out of context can make it sound like you said something awful, right? And they bombard them with that shit, and they're gonna, well, we don't want to bother with that. Our business won't be associated with someone like that. And then they just say, okay, well, forget it. We're not gonna partner with you. And they, you know, and the problem is they won't do it up front because all these businesses are automated. So I'll make my page, I'll make a whole page of designs, and everyone will start to order, and then all of a sudden they'll get 400 troll complaints, and then they'll just shut my page down. So all that work and effort of someone designing merch and stuff for me, and then me loading it in there and setting it up, and everyone's placing orders, and then they all get canceled. So what's the point, right? That's the thing. I've asked you guys, are there any third-party sites that will consider doing this? And people sent me some suggestions. None of them are... Like, one of them was like, you need to have over 1 million subscribers on your YouTube channel or social network for us to do business with you. So it said. And I was like, well, I don't have that. I have 200,000 on my YouTube channel, right? I mean, if you combine all my YouTube channels together and my social media, maybe I've got like 300,000, 350 tops. I'm nowhere near 1 million. So without having that level of clout, I guess, these businesses won't do business with you. And the ones that are out there that are the freebies, they all just bend over to complaints of it. And you know, my trolls will always just lie and say fucked up stuff about me. That's not true. And these idiots just believe it because they'd rather err on the side of caution than get in trouble, I guess, for selling merch from someone who's considered, you know, a racist or something, which you guys know I'm not. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, I can't work with a small business to do merch. As much as the suggestion seems like it would work, it would not work. Okay? Let's continue. Let's see here. It's been a while since you did a Game Pass marathon. So many different games that would be fun to do again. Dark Tide, Call of the Wild, The Angler, Party Animals, Lamplighters League, Broforce, and many more. Let's do it. Alice Madness Returns. You put in 2011. It would be awesome to see it run. Alright. Can I be honest with you guys? You guys suggesting games for me to play is a waste of everybody's time. Yours and mine. I'm not playing those games right now. Right now, it's the middle of the busiest gaming season of the year. I'm backlogged on the new games I'm playing. There's more new games coming out. There's new games I skipped. I'm not playing a Game Pass marathon right now. So, I get it, but your suggestions like that are something for when there's downtime, not for now. So, putting it in the suggestion box now is a waste of your and my time. Knights of the Old Republic 2, let's play. Okay, waste of time. Cut out the Q&A sections of your podcast, make it special again for Ask the King and play Lost Odyssey. Well, here's the thing, okay? Ask the King has absolutely 1,000,000% gone completely neglected this year. We have not done an episode of Ask the King since March, I think. Because I think the last episode was supposed to be in May. And what ended up happening was when May came, we were busy. And everyone was like, you don't need to do Ask the King. You're so busy. You know, you answer people's questions every day, right? So just do it later. So I said, all right, we'll do it in June. Street Fighter's out. Do it later. All right, we'll do it in July. And now this is going on. Now do this, do that. You see? And all year, Ask the King just got forgotten. We haven't done Ask the King all year long. Now, because I haven't done Ask the King, are we missing anything? No, right? Why aren't we missing anything? Because I'm an interactive streamer. And every day I do a podcast where I talk with you guys and you answer your questions, right? We go in depth a lot of the times with these questions and things like that when there's times and stuff like that. But I'm an interactive streamer now. And I told you guys like 3 years ago that I thought that Ask the King had become outdated. And I didn't really feel that it had a place in my content anymore. Because I was answering your questions live all day, every day. Especially chill streams. Like whenever I'm playing a chill, relaxing game and we're talking almost the whole time, that's when we're getting a lot of questions, discussed or whatever. So, because of that, the way I see it anyway, it is obsolete. But people kind of demand it over the years. No, it's your longest running legacy show. We absolutely want to see you keep doing Ask the King, so please keep it in the rotation. So I did. But then this year is the year where it kind of like hit the fan. And if you haven't noticed, no one's asking for it. It's not like people are like, man, we're really missing Ask the King. We're so sad. No one has said that this year. I'm not even a single person has said that this year. Okay? So, it definitely feels to me like what I said would happen just kind of happened naturally. It wasn't like an active choice to say, let's just end Ask the King. It just kind of naturally happened where no one really needs it. There's no need for it. I used to do a holiday Ask the King for Thanksgiving every year. Do we need to do it this year? Not really, right? What's the point? We're talking every day. So, in my opinion, I don't really see the point. Now, this person says, just don't do any Q&A whatsoever on any of your daily streams. Instead, just save it for Ask the King. So you want me to never answer questions? Never. Wow. Cut out all Q&A sections of podcasts and content so you could do Ask the King again. Is that what you guys really want? You never want me to talk to you guys and answer your questions ever on stream. If you ask me a question, sorry, we're withholding that question. And if you would like a good answer, save that for Ask the King, which is coming up in 3 weeks. Submit it in the forum, right? Submit it in the post, right? That's what you're saying. You don't want me to ever answer any questions at all. Do you see my point? The whole thing is I'm an interactive streamer. We have conversations, we have fun, right? I do feel like the one thing that's lacking when we don't do Ask the King, the one thing that's lacking, if someone asks me a question where we could get into a really in-depth answer, if there's a big story or a history behind it, right? Because that's happened. Someone will ask me a question, I'm like, well, actually, I got this big story to tell you about it, about my past, and let's do this, and then the answer's like 20 minutes long. You know, you don't get 20-minute long answers, usually, on a podcast or in the midst of a game playthrough. You're just not going to get that level of answer because we're moving. We're constantly moving. We're on to the next thing. We're continuing with the gameplay. We can't hold up the stream, right? So I understand that in that case, okay, I definitely understand that there's something lacking. And maybe it does stand to reason that every once in a while we should do an Ask the King. Maybe we should bring back Ask the King for Christmas. Maybe we absolutely should do Holiday Ask the King. A Christmas-themed Ask the King where you could have burning questions you had all year that I didn't answer. Holiday questions for the year end. We are so close to 100 episodes. I want to say we're like 3 episodes away from episode 100 for the show. And it absolutely could be the final episode of the entire series to end the series, right? It could be. So let's think about it, all right? And let me know. But would I stop doing Q&A on my podcast and other content to save all questions for Ask the King? No, that's ridiculous. I mean, I became an interactive streamer in 2017. That's what I signed up for, to answer people's questions, right? Play Lost Odyssey. I'd love to play Lost Odyssey, but again, these random game suggestions don't help. Will I ever stream or post videos in 4K resolution? I'm not opposed to it, okay? What I will say is this. Sadly, a lot of games, even though they run at 4K, they will not run at 60 frames per second. And I'm just starting to enjoy the fact that in the last 1 to 2 years, the vast majority of games that I've been playing can be played at 60 frames per second. It seems like the first time in 100 years that that's possible, right? It's stupid that games have taken this long to have 60 frames as a standard option, performance to be a standard option in a new release. But you're not going to get that at 4K, right? In addition, 4K resolution is an incredibly high required bitrate for both broadcasting and recording. I think I could do it. Even if I wanted to do it now, I probably could. But I think the question would actually be more of, could people watch it? It's such a high bitrate. Who could watch at 4K? Who has that internet that could even handle that, right? And then on top of that, no, with my current hardware, I can't do 4K. My current hardware, the highest resolution it'll do is 1080p. I can't even do 1440p if I wanted to. All this capture stuff I'm using only does 1080p, okay? So even if I wanted to do up to 4K, it does 4K pass-through, but it does not do 4K resolution. So I would need a full hardware upgrade. I would need a better PC, better capture device, a full-on, and that's the one thing we've avoided. We've literally upgraded everything else, right? My TV, my game consoles, my capture device, my lighting, my camera. I mean, you can go through every piece here has been upgraded in the last 2 to 3 years. Everything but the PC. The PC is still the 9-year-old PC, and it still works. It's not really having any problems. It's allowing me to keep doing what I need to do, and anything like 1080p, I'm good. When I need to go to 4K, I guess that's going to be when we're forced to do that kind of an upgrade. Okay? Okay. Go to a local Street Fighter tournament and play without online lag. Why? What's the point of that? Right? I don't even understand what the point of that would be. I have no aspirations to be a competitive Street Fighter player at all. I don't care about competitive Street Fighter anymore. I have no intentions to travel and put that kind of money and time investment into it. It would mean sacrificing being a variety content creator to do so. Quite honestly, and here's another funny part about this too, okay? If you didn't notice, when Street Fighter 6 came out, and there was tons of hype around the game, 2-3 months, man, people absolutely ate up every piece of content I put out of Street Fighter 6, right? As I learned the game, I got good at it, I got to master level with multiple characters, you know what I mean? It was good stuff. Now when I play it, it's alright, but you notice a lot of that hype is gone. Why? Because the hype for the game is played out. The game came out in June. It's November. You know, we're 5 months into a game or whatever. That hype will be depleted. And imagine, just imagine, if I had made that decision, that I'm going to commit that much time and effort, and by the way, that would have meant playing half the games that I've played between June and now. Literally, I would have had to skip half the releases that I've played, okay? It would have meant, instead of streaming like I do now, tons of Street Fighter, every other stream would be Street Fighter, okay? And then traveling, going to tournaments and events. I would have had to attend a bunch of locals in Seattle and stuff like that. All for what? Right? Just to get to a level where maybe I can semi-hang with people in the area. But what would have been? What would it have been? What would have been the benefit of doing that? Because by now, the hype's already dead. So unless you're completely in the pro circuit and you're planning on being a pro player who's going to be like top level, making money playing these games, what benefit would that have done for me? Right? So that's what I mean. Like, this is what people just don't understand. Excuse me. When it comes to competitive fighting games. The incredible amount of time, skill, effort, dedication, money. All this is an investment. It's all an investment to do it. And I've been there, done that. I've invested all that time, effort, money, skill, all that into it at one point in my life when I was in my 20s. And after the end of doing that for many, many years, I determined even then that was too much of a waste of all my life putting into Street Fighter. I didn't see the benefit, right? Even if today I were to be signed by an esports team to travel the world and all that, I still don't think it would be worth it. I still feel like there's not enough of a benefit, right? It's too much of a sacrifice. It means I wouldn't be able to spend time with my family. I wouldn't be able to put out the kind of content that I like for you guys, the variety of content. What's the point? So, go to locals and try to get good. And why? Why? I don't even understand it. The gimmick would last one tournament. Phil went to one tournament and he either did good or he didn't or whatever, and then no one cares. So, so I don't get it. Like, what are we even talking about? Okay. Okay. Anyway, that's a lot of suggestions we've gone through. I think for today we will pause the suggestion box. That was a good 40 minutes of suggestions. Okay. Now, I would love to hear feedback. If you heard any of my responses to the suggestions and you want to follow up, leave comments on this video. Please give me your feedback and let me know what you think about what we just talked about. I need feedback. It's not just me talking to you. It's us having a dialogue. I want to hear what you think it is would be the benefit. For example, that whole idea of member Mondays or whatever. I don't get it. I just don't understand how that would work for me. That sounds like something that works for a giant streamer who's in demand. I'm not a giant streamer who's in demand. So how would that work for me, right? Again, what works for everyone else who's 10 times, 20 times, 50 times bigger than me does not work for me. I'm a small-time guy, so I have to do what works, right? Okay, let me blow my nose, and I'll be right back, and then we'll continue on with shout-outs and the like. Okay, thanks for being patient. So, to reiterate, if you want to have a dialogue about the stuff we're talking about from the suggestion box, respond to this video, leave a comment. I'll see it. If I see the comment and it's pertinent and we can have a conversation back and forth, I will highlight that comment and I will talk about it on tomorrow's show. Okay? Fair enough? That's how we're going to do this. I'm not putting up another suggestions box for November yet because we got to get through the one for October 1st. It would make no sense for me to have another one already when we're addressing things now that very well could address your concern first. But that was like, no exaggeration, that was like what, 5, 6 suggestions we got through, right? Out of how many? So this is going to take weeks and weeks and weeks for us to get through the suggestions box before we get to new stuff. So let's write it out. All right, guys? Okay. So let's do shout outs. We start off with Game Master, Mr. Game Master, who did a super chat earlier. Thank you, Mr. Game Master. Then he did a second super chat for $10. I appreciate that. And he says the following. I asked about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League last night. You said it looks horrible. We can both agree it looks like another Redfall. We need justice for Batman. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened, right? I don't know what happened. How did they go from making the Batman Arkham trilogy to that? Unless, I hate to say it, unless the game studio is so... It's very possible that the management at Rocksteady have looked at all the games in the last decade. Because if you remember, Batman Arkham City came out in 2015. So we're talking almost a decade now since the last game that they've put out. And it very well could be that around them, they saw the games industry evolve. They saw the era of the games as a service game. Games such as Destiny, the Tom Clancy games, right? Apex Legends and other online co-op shooter games, Fortnite, right? And they saw this whole industry evolve around them and said, man, we really blew it, because when we did Arkham City, we did a season pass. So everyone paid the $30 extra, and we provided them with the Batmobile tracks, a bunch of skins, the Batgirl expansion, and we made some extra money, but it wasn't games as a service. It was like people played that one time for that one expansion. We made our money, and that was it. And then we're left, you know, for the last 8+ years, you know, reliant on the revenue that we made on the Batman Arkham trilogy in order to make new games, rather than having that games as a service continuous revenue model. And it sounds to me like that's definitely where they decided to try to go with their new game. That they would, let's cash in. People know that our games are good, so let's make a games as a service model where it's going to be looter shooter, team up with your friends. It looks like Fortnite, but it plays edgy like Batman, you know. And I don't know, like, it really could be that the management are just out of touch. I feel like a lot of games that are being pushed at this point are just too little too late. Like, it almost seems to me like they were going for the same thing that just happened with Gotham Knights, where a lot of superhero games were going to try to be games as a service like Avengers was. They all thought Avengers was going to be a hit and was going to be a monster seller, and all tracking was saying that Avengers was going to do well, and then it was the complete polar opposite. It flopped, it destroyed Crystal Dynamics, it destroyed Square Enix, the biggest waste of money ever. And because of that, they all had to scramble. Oh crap, we just worked 5 years on a game to try to make a superhero games as a service game, and now it's not going to work. We got to change our game. Look what they did with Gotham Knights. It absolutely looks like that was going to be a looter shooter team up game with, you know, content piecemeal, games as a service, and they had to change the model entirely so that people would buy and play it. So maybe that's what's happening with Suicide Squad. I don't know. This is all speculation. But yeah, it's unfortunate because, as you know, we trust Rocksteady. They did such an outstanding job with the Arkham trilogy, and now 8 years removed from making a game, what is going on? They show us a game that looks so bad compared to what they've already put out, and just doesn't look like in the spirit of anything that people wants to play right at this point. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. So I guess we're going to find out. But yeah, it's sad. I do hope they recover, and I hope the game ends up being good. But right now, you know, from what we saw, it did not look very good. 672 did a super chat. I'm scared to leave a suggestion, my tribal chief. Well, I'm sorry that you are a scaredy cat. I can't make you man up and not be cowardly. So I would say if you can do something, maybe you could read some books about self-confidence. There's a lot of motivational speakers out there that perhaps could give you a little confidence boost. But I think you'll do all right. I think you should post up your suggestion. We'll see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that could possibly happen? I roast you? I roast you anyway. So you might as well get double roasted, and everyone has a good double roast. You ever had a double roast? Those are delicious. Very robust flavor. Anyway. So, there you go. All right. I have one tip so far today. A $2 tip. Really? Someone tipped $2, and I'm glad you didn't watch any more of a Jason video. It looked inappropriate. It could have gotten your stream and channel shut down. I don't know what it was. I know what video you're talking about. On the react show yesterday, it goes, here's video of Jason Voorhees. And it shows a guy putting his hand down a girl's throat. I was like, that's it, we're done. I don't even care what it is. I literally don't even give two shits what this is. I'm stupid. That's enough for me. Right on to the next video. So, there you go. Thank you for the anonymous $2 tip. Yeah, I have no idea what it was, because I tell you guys I don't watch the videos ahead of time. I don't know what they are. Interestingly enough, the video was not flagged as adult content. But, you know, who knows who flags these things. Okay. Will I review? Okay, so now we're going to open up chat to open Q&A. If you'd like to ask me a question, please tag me in the chat. And, of course, if any contributions come in, I will shout them out. Okay? So, I'm being asked, am I going to watch the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Don't you think that boat is kind of sailed? Like, if I was going to watch that, it would have been last week when it came out. And I was sick. I couldn't watch it. And now who cares? Like, who gives two shits about that now, right? So I would say, no. I'm not going to watch it. I've heard it's awful. I don't like the games, so I'm probably not going to like the movie. Halloween's over. No one's asking me to watch horror movies, so I think we're gonna move on. Okay. Okay. So what would you guys like to talk about for the rest of the show? We have a little bit of extra time before we jump into Alan Wake 2 here. I did just clear my throat, and I did just drink some water. Thank you. Am I going to play RoboCop? Oh my god, these fucking people. I'm going to wait for another question. I had too mean to 672, and you demand that I apologize to him. I didn't really do anything too bad to him. Right? Did I? I mean, he was being a jerk the other day, and he got called out. Rightfully so, he got called out. And then he tried to lie and said he didn't say what he said when he absolutely said it. And he knows he did, by the way. But outside of that, I haven't done anything mean to him or, you know, or anything. I should say I haven't done anything more so to him or more inappropriate to him that I wouldn't just say to any common person here. I mean, if you're really offended at the things that I'm saying at you, when I'm joshing you in chat, I mean, you're probably in the wrong place then, right? Okay. Favorite console of all time is the Super Nintendo. I'm not going to answer any questions about, am I playing a certain game? I've already answered you a million times answers about the games I'm playing right now and what I plan on playing soon. And then we tackle other stuff after. I'm not going to answer every specific game because it's just a waste of everyone's time. Excuse me. Cyber says, a members-only stream would not work. People would restream it. And we all get bombed with detractor content when we watch you because YouTube is broken so people would know anyway. There you go. What's for dinner tonight? I have no idea. Depends on what my wife is up to. She has not cooked all week, rightfully so. She's been sick. You know, we have options. She has a couple bakes to make. Like she can make, I think we have tuna casserole or a spaghetti bake or, well, it's more of an Italian bake. I don't think it's spaghetti specifically. A gumbo with a roux, or I think also tortellini soup. So really, it depends on what she feels like is what we're gonna have for dinner. Oh, my freaking nose is really bothering me today. It's pissing me off. Sorry, guys. Let me blow it very quickly here. Oh, okay. Gross. I know. It's absolutely disgusting. Hold on. Ugh. Disgusting. I've had enough, but it looks like it's going to last another week. Joe Aloft says, question about Like a Dragon. Now that they're putting Cosmic Kiryu back in the spotlight, with Ichiban Kasuga, which protagonist do you prefer? I don't know. We haven't even seen them side by side yet. I can't answer questions like that. We've had one game with Ichiban. We had a bunch of games with Kazuma. We've never seen them interact. We've never seen a game where they swap yet. How can I answer that question? Jeez. Well, I'll review any Christmas movies in December. That's the intention. That is the intention. That, yes, I will be doing holiday-themed reviews and things over the course of maybe late this month into next month. So we'll see. I'm probably going to do a suggestions thread where people can post up things they would like to see me review. Ugh. What's up, Dax McGain? How you doing? When am I going to distribute game codes? Well, I had some game codes that were donated, and I said that I was going to try to wait for a big event like the Halloween event, and then the Halloween event didn't happen. So I guess we'll wait till the adpocalypse. Why not? Why not give out a bunch of games during the celebration of commercialism and blowing of money frivolously, I'll give some stuff away. So I guess we'll do it then, right? We'll probably have a lot of people on stream that day too. Yes, I liked Lost Judgment. I did an insanely huge completion playthrough of it. What's my favorite kind of pie? Tough question. I really like apple pie. I like cherry pie. I like other berries, like blueberry pie and stuff like that is good too. So, that's a really tough question because I like all the... It has to be fruit, though. Like, I'm not a big into, like, chocolate and stuff like that. You know how they do different decadent cream peanut butter pie? That's too much. I like fruit pies. Am I going with Alan or Saga today? Oh, we're continuing on with Alan. He had just hit a movie theater. And so that's what we're going to do, his movie theater plotline today. Are RPGs still my favorite genre? I never said they were. They're one of my favorites. RPGs and fighting games are two huge that I really love, but it's definitely... I don't know if it's overall my favorite. Do I like fishing? Yes. No, I've never had a mac and cheese with maple syrup. That sounds disgusting. I've never had a meat pie whatsoever. I guess the closest thing I've ever had to a meat pie would have been like a chicken pot pie, which I've had and I like those. But I've never had a meat pie per se, so I don't know if I would enjoy it or not. Would I try pumpkin spice chicken wings? Probably not. That sounds disgusting. Game Master, I'm still playing Yakuza. Yes, I don't care what IGN reviewed it. I don't care what IGN does. IGN is the worst judge of anything. But I'm definitely playing it. Thank you, Game Master, for the super chat. I received a $20 tip from 1 Minute Man. Thank you to 1 Minute Man. Appreciate that, as always, of course. Your daily support of all my content. Biggest contribution so far today. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. Thank you for that. All right. No, I've never dyed my hair, not once. Nope. Never even owned a hair dyeing product myself. Which older mainline Metal Gear Solid game would I replay with a full remake? Any of them. I like apple pie. I like peach pie. Nah, the pumpkin. I never was a big fan of pumpkin pie. I think it's just okay. I don't know why people love pumpkin pie so much, but it's funny because my wife loves pumpkin pie. She's like in love with it. She's like one of her favorite, if not her favorite pies. I'm like, I like fruit. The preload begins November 8th for Modern Warfare 3. That's ridiculous. I heard it's huge, though, right? Isn't it like over 200 gigs, some insanely huge size? So probably what I'll do, I'll probably go ahead and immediately start deleting games. Like, I'll get rid of Sonic Superstars. I'll get rid of Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'll get rid of Lies of P, because that's already been uploaded to the cloud. I'll get rid of... It's funny, because I pre-downloaded Cities Skylines 2, but I don't even think it ever worked. Actually, I don't think the game ever worked at all on console, for whatever reason, so I got rid of that. I think the only other game I have installed on here is Fallout 3, which is not going to be... I just booted it by accident. I don't think it's going to be any big game or anything. No, it's 6 gigs. That's like nothing. So I should be good when it comes to hard drive space. I should have tons of space on here Oh, yeah. I have 532.9 gigs free on my Xbox. So even with over 200 gigs for Modern Warfare 3, I'll still have enough space on here for Like a Dragon Gaiden and even another probably few games. So, I mean, no problems right now. I think we're good. What else is on here? Portal 2 and Proteus. Actually, Proteus apparently isn't even on Game Pass anymore. They removed it. So I wouldn't even be able to play it. So I might as well uninstall it. Yeah. That was one from like 2 years ago we were going to play, and we never got around to it. Portal is 5 gigs, so I'll leave that on there. So I have Alan Wake 2, Fallout 3, Portal 2, Starfield, and Street Fighter 6. That's all I got on here. So I've got more than enough space on here, which is great. That means no worries with this insanely huge Call of Duty game file coming. Oh. No, I'm not doing the podcast on Instagram Live. It's 200 gigs because the Modern Warfare 2 content, if you delete Modern Warfare 2 content, it's lower. Like what, though? Like what Modern Warfare 2 content is in it? Because I guess what you're saying is it probably has the campaign of Modern Warfare 2 and everything in it too, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably preload it over Thursday, so we'll have it, because like I said, I'll probably want to do it as the main stream on Friday, do 3 hours of multiplayer, really immerse myself, try to unlock all the guns and everything. So that'll be fun. You know, we had a lot of fun with the beta, with that freaking Juggernaut. Man, that Juggernaut kill streak is ridiculous. I wonder how easy it'll be in the final game to get. No, there's no smoke detector battery going off. I don't know what you heard. There's no smoke detector battery. Maybe you heard me deleting games on the Xbox. Maybe it made a noise. That might be what you heard. Do you usually do turkey, ham, or whatever for Thanksgiving? I've said this a million times. I'm not a big turkey guy. I'll eat it, but I'm not a crazy aficionado of turkey like a lot of people are. I'm more of a fan of everything on Thanksgiving, all the sides and the variety of food you'll have. So what we did last year is we bought what's called a breast roast. It's basically just a turkey breast without all the legs and all the other things, just the breast. And then we did a bunch of other things. That's what we're going to do this year. We're going to buy that again, and we're going to get like cranberry sauce, rolls with butter, some kind of veggie, whether it's green beans or corn or something. We're going to have sides. My parents ordered us some sides, but we don't know what they are yet. Usually it's something like mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes or something like that. So we'll see what we get there, and we'll try to make a giant meal out of it, you know. But no, we don't go crazy, and we certainly don't like bake a giant turkey or anything like that. Cypress says, how do gift memberships work? Can people gift others who have never seen your content before? Can you only gift to people in chat? YouTube tracks statistics based on viewership history. So if you're someone who watches my content all the time, okay, and then someone drops a member bomb on the chat, you have a higher percentile chance of getting a gifted membership if you're someone who watches all the time. If you're someone who watches less frequently, then you're still in the running, but you're less of a chance. If you've never seen my content before, no, you're not just going to get a membership. What's happened is there were a couple times ages ago when they first started with the memberships where people tried to gift them and the system didn't register the data yet, so they basically just got refunded for all the gifted memberships. But ever since then, that was like over a year ago. Ever since then, it's worked smoothly. So yeah, if you gift memberships, YouTube does this calculation behind the scenes based on how often do you watch, you know, how many streams are you on and things like that, and it divvies it out appropriately. So the bigger fan you are, the more you watch, the more high of an increased chance that you will get a gifted membership on the channel. There you go. Really? Drew Corporation says, I noticed you can now buy gifted memberships on mobile now. I didn't know that. That must be something new because people have always complained about that. That's cool. 672 says, thoughts on a Big Mac combo being $18 in some states in the United States. I mean, you have to be a moron to buy that. The Big Mac is 2 single cheeseburgers with bread, special sauce, pickles, and cheese, and lettuce. So you could buy 2 single cheeseburgers for what? $3? So why would you buy a Big Mac combo for $18? Like a fry is like what, $2? $3? So if you could buy the burgers for $3, the fries for $3, and a soda for $2, that's $8. Why would you spend $18 for the Big Mac? Right? And by the way, I would much prefer to eat 2 single cheeseburgers at McDonald's than a Big Mac. They're better. They have more on them. They have more condiments. They have the diced onions. They have more on them. All right. Anything else, guys? Oh, stupid nose. If I had to choose for a long-awaited Valve sequel to come out, would I pick Portal 3 or Half-Life 3? Half-Life 3. Portal's great, but we want a real game with substance to the story. We don't just want puzzles, right? I like Portal just like anyone else, but I'd much rather have a game with substance, with combat and narrative and all this cool stuff rather than just constant puzzles. So... I don't give a shit if Lightning McQueen is coming to Rocket League. I don't know why anyone would. Mystios, I guess you were not here earlier. I said that we will likely just give out game codes during the next marathon event, the Apocalypse. The ones that I was going to give out during the Halloween event, because I want to do it during an event when there's a lot of people around. So... Yes, I watched HBO's The Last of Us and reviewed it. That was one of the very first reviews I ever did for DSP Reacts earlier this year. That's what spurred me to start doing reviews on the channel, actually. All right. How would I feel about Left 4 Dead 3? Great, but it'll never get made. They already made Black 4 Blood, and it was their own version, and it sucked. So, it's never going to happen. No, we don't do politics talk, you know that. Maybe someday we will, but not today. Not today! We're gamers. We're here to chill and have fun and enjoy games together and have fun with each other's company, not to bitch about the politicking. Hold on, because I gotta blow my nose again. Yes, it's bothering me that bad today. Well, it is a beautiful autumn day outside. The leaves are all turning a shade of orangish yellow right outside my window, which is really nice. I love the autumn. My favorite, I would say the autumn into early winter is my favorite time of year. Because we get all these awesome games, great weather, good holiday vibes and everything coming up, so it's good stuff. No, I'm not revealing my costume. I said we're saving it and we'll do it for a future event and or for next Halloween. With the amount of money I spent on the costume, there's no way that I'm going to waste the costume. So. Cyber says, I've watched hours and hours of DSP Reacts. I'm catching up through the years. I'm on 2014. I literally, hours of content you provided. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, that channel before it was a React channel, it was a vlogging channel. So you're talking all those years. I put out so much different kinds of content on that channel that's still available to watch. You could watch endless amounts of content from over a decade on that channel. It was only February of this year that I rebranded it to DSP Reacts, and it now has all that weekly React content and everything on it. What difference does weather make in my line of work? Comfort. When it's too hot outside, this office heats up. It's incredibly uncomfortable in here. You know, entire spring into summer into early fall, you have to have the air conditioner blasting, no fresh air. That's terrible. And then when I take it out, if it's still warm, I'm in here sweating it out, and it's just no way to get comfortable. Now it's perfect weather. It's absolutely perfect weather right now for what we're doing. No, I never really took calls. The calls you're seeing, I did no exaggeration. I used to do a podcast that was very different than this show. Okay, it wasn't a daily podcast. It wasn't. It didn't have a good format, quite honestly. It was just every once in a while I'd just do a random show, and the idea was that at one point I would take callers over Skype. This is ancient. This is like 10 years ago, right? And I only did it a few times. You know, I only did callers in a few times. And the few times we did it, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And then the moment when I realized that these trolls were going to try to keep taking that opportunity to ruin it, I just stopped. And that was what, like 8 years ago? So people seem to reminisce about the weirdest things. Like people to this day will still say, oh man, I really missed that long-running cooking show you did. Long-running cooking show? You mean Poorly Cooking with the King, the joke show that was meant to be a parody of a cooking show? And it only ran like 10 episodes, and it only ran for like 6 months. I've been doing content for 15 years. And people act like, oh, I really missed that cooking show you used to do. I barely did it. Right? Same thing, you know, doing a podcast with callers. I did like 4 shows that I ever took calls. And people like freak out. Oh, I really missed that. Well, guess what? You are calling in right now. It's called the stream chat. Right? Yes, I worked in the food industry for a very long time. When I was a teenager, 15 years old, I worked in fast food all the way through my early college days, and then I actually went back to it again for a little bit after that. So yes, I've been in the food industry. I'm sorry, Sarah. She says, I actually had the day off of work. I want to watch your Halloween marathon. Then when you got sick, it ruined my week. But I'm looking forward to see the costume next year. I'm sorry. I know. Listen, it ruined my week too. Being sick ruined my week as well. It really shitty. I wish if only if only having the time off could have been something positive and productive, but instead it was me sitting in bed feeling like shit, wasting time, being sick. So I'm sorry that happened. Did I eat any of the food? You mean the fast food when I worked there? Yeah, I worked at a place. It was called Everything Yogurt and Salad Cafe. So it was fresh salads made to order, plus sandwiches like panini sandwiches, wraps, frozen yogurt, smoothies, ices, that kind of stuff. I never ate a salad there because I wasn't a salad eating teenager. I wasn't into salads, but I had many wraps, panini sandwiches, things like that I would eat there. And the smoothies too. I would make my own smoothies and frosties and things there as well. Yes, we had a panini press, correct. What's up, Jade? How you doing? How you feeling? I don't ever remember eating Chuck E. Cheese pizza. People are talking about Chuck E. Cheese. I don't ever remember eating it. I've been there a couple times. I had a birthday party at a Chuck E. Cheese when I was a kid once. I don't remember it all. The pizza must have been so unnotable that I don't remember the flavor, nothing at all. The only thing I remember about my Chuck E. Cheese birthday party was they had a G.I. Joe video game that I never played before. It was like a behind-the-back third-person shooter where you would just shoot all around the screen aiming at things that you were running at constantly. And I'd never seen a game like that before. And so, I thought it was fun and unique. It was much better than the stuff I had at home. And I played a lot of that when I was there. But that's literally all I remember. I don't remember anything else about the Chuck E. Cheese birthday but the G.I. Joe video game. That's it. So it must have not been very good. Because you think I would have remembered one other thing. I don't remember anything else. Have I ever had an outside job? You mean like a job where I did outdoor work? No. I never had a job doing that. I volunteered doing that. I volunteered to, in high school, there was a lot of volunteer work you were supposed to do. So I volunteered to clean up roadways and yards. I volunteered for Habitat for Humanity to clean up and do stuff like that around houses and stuff. You know, so I've done a lot of outdoor work when I was younger, but never as an actual job where I received pay. It was more volunteer work. Thank you, Sarah, for re-upping your membership. She says, don't be sorry, next year will be awesome. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, what a letdown. I very much always look forward to the Halloween stuff, but let's move forward positively now. Let's not dwell on the past and what we missed. Let's focus on the positive future and the games I'm going to play and all the good stuff coming up, all right? Yes, I've had Five Guys burgers before, and they're good. Haven't had one in a million years, but I like Five Guys burgers and fries. Fresh, though. You got to get them fresh. The one time I ordered delivery here for a Feasting with the King, it was terrible. It was like gross and not tasty at all. It was like destroyed by the time it showed up, and I was like, wow, that's very disappointing. Fresh, though, they're fucking amazing. All right, guys, I think it's time to end the show. So, let me know what you thought about our first ever suggestion box segment. I'm all ears. Be sure to leave comments on the podcast to let me know what you think and have a little bit of back and forth dialogue about it. We will continue on with more of those. Will it be tomorrow? I don't know, but we will continue on with more of the suggestion box. There's tons more suggestions to get through, and I'm sure that it'll be pretty productive. So thank you all. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode of the Level 1 Podcast.